Pierre Chanal, a French army veteran who received the French Military Valor Medal for his service in Lebanon, was secretly a sadistic serial killer. Army veterans are often seen as heroes, but some become villains. Pierre Chanal was a well-known French army veteran who was awarded the French Military Valor Medal in 1985 for outstanding service in Lebanon. He was an idol for many young people who aspired to be like him. But what nobody knew was that Chanal was secretly a sadistic serial killer. This video will explore the dark side of Chanal's life and examine how he was able to get away with his crimes for so long. We will also discuss the impact that his crimes had on his victims and their families. Born on the 18th of November 1946, Pierre grew up in Saint-Étienne, France. He lived in a small house together with his 15 siblings. Pierre couldn't wait to get away from his father, a violent alcoholic. So he enlisted in the military as soon as he was of legal age. Pierre was a natural leader who ascended through the army ranks and became the senior warrant officer in the 4th Dragoons Regiment. He was commended for his exceptional service with the French military during Lebanon's brutal civil war. However, while the world praised him, he was involved in something sinister. From 1980, when Pierre was 34 years old, he began seeking interest in young men. He lured them into riding in his VW Combi van and then overpowered them. After making them helpless, Pierre raped them continuously for hours before strangling them. The more suffering he caused, the more satisfied he was. Pierre especially enjoyed filming his victims in their agony. Between 1980 and 1987, he allegedly raped and murdered 8 army recruits while serving in Marne. Amongst these were Patrick Gache, 18, Patrick Dubois, 19, Manuel Carvalho, 19, Pascal Sargent, 19, Serge Havet, 20, Olivier Donner, 20, Patrice Denis, 20, and Trevor O'Keefe, 20. If not for a fortunate discovery by a police patrol car in 1988, Pierre would have continued to kill more. In 1988, Pierre picked up a Hungarian hitchhiker, Palaz Falvey, near the Mourmelon camp in Marne. He drove him to an abandoned country road, where he tied up Palaz's hands and put a chain around his neck. Using it, he dragged Palaz out of the car onto the pavement, where he stripped off his clothes. Palaz kept asking Pierre to have mercy on him, but Pierre was not the one to listen to others. He switched on his video camera, which captured Pierre raping Palaz for almost 20 hours. However, things took a drastic turn as he was about to strangle Palaz to kill him. A police patrol car had been making its rounds when it noticed a Volkswagen camper van parked on a deserted country road. As they got closer to it, they were horrified to see Pierre assaulting Palaz. The officers immediately came to Palaz's rescue and arrested Pierre. This scandalous news of Pierre spread like wildfire, and the public was shocked at his acts. They found it difficult to accept that behind Pierre's facade of a dutiful soldier was a ruthless rapist. Once taken into custody, Pierre refused to confess to his crime and told the police only his name, service number, and rank. A police officer commented on his attitude during the questioning. He acted like he was a prisoner of war. During the search of Pierre's van, the investigators found a set of men's underpants, but what surprised them was that it did not belong to Palaz and was labeled "Made in Britain." Around this time, the officers received a report of a naked dead body found in the woods. The police identified him as Trevor O'Keefe, an Irishman who had disappeared 2 years earlier in Marne. When the detectives saw Trevor strangled with a cord twisted in the manner learned in the French Commando forces, they suspected Pierre. They searched Pierre's van again to confirm their suspicions and conducted DNA testing on the human hairs discovered in the back in June 1996. The results indicated a strong possibility that it was Trevor's hairs. But the unexpected find was that some of the hair strands belonged to 2 other individuals. Further investigation revealed that those two individuals were Olivier Donner and Patrice Denis. Like Trevor, both had also been last seen in the same area in the Marne. The military authorities had dismissed their disappearances, assuming them to be deserters. It led the detectives to dig more into this, discovering 5 more such cases of missing recruits. All had vanished in the area in Marne, now referred to as the Triangle of Death. The timing of all 8 disappearances was strange, as they all occurred while Pierre was stationed at Marne. It was also no coincidence that no one had gone missing in the region throughout his time in Lebanon. Another circumstantial evidence was that Pierre had purchased his video camera just a few days before the first of the disappearances 8 years ago. By the mid-1990s, the police had substantial proof to charge Pierre for Falvey's kidnapping and rape and the murder of Trevor, Olivier, and Patrice. Despite constant attempts to break Pierre's firm resolve, he never told where he had dumped the bodies of the remaining 5 victims. So, their cases had to be dropped due to a lack of evidence. After a mysterious delay of 8 years, Pierre stood for his trial in 2003. He refused to plead guilty to his crimes and vowed to kill himself if dragged to court again. The judge ignored it and summoned him to court the next day. However, Pierre remained true to his promise and committed suicide at midnight in prison by cutting his artery with a razor blade. The news of Pierre's suicide spread like wildfire, and it caused an uproar across the country. People blamed the military for the 8-year delay in Pierre's trial. The victims' families were also distraught when they learned Pierre had escaped justice. Trevor's mother, Miss Areline O'Keefe, who fought for her son's justice for 16 years, expressed, "We didn't strive for Chanal's suicide. We strove for truth and justice, and he robbed us of that, just as he robbed me of my son." Even though the Court of Bankruptcy of Paris compensated all 8 victims' families with 36,000 euros, everyone knew it could never get the men back. Pierre Chanal was a complex and contradictory figure. He was a decorated war hero who was also a sadistic serial killer. His crimes had a devastating impact on his victims and their families. It is important to remember that evil can exist in unexpected places. Even those who are supposed to protect us can be capable of great harm. We must always be vigilant and never take our safety for granted. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more fascinating and disturbing true crime stories. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.